Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Anna from Astralladytarot. Today I'm talking about unusual tips to study tarot. This was a request. It was really long ago and I'm sorry I don't remember who said it, who asked this, but I'm finally making this video, so I hope you enjoy that. The quote was, "I'd love to see how you study a specific card, meaning the different kinds of journaling angles or research techniques you use to dive deep." And I really love this question. As I said, it was a really long time ago, but here it is. So what I'm going to talk about are things that I did to learn tarot, and I still do those things with, for instance, new decks, or, just to keep working, because we are, after all, the eternal student, learning tarot or being a tarot reader. But I still do them because those tips help me so much, and I'm someone who does journal a lot, so keep that in mind. I do believe it's safe to say that these techniques are a little bit out of the ordinary here and there, but I really like the idea of, and I do that, studying a specific card or just the tarot in general, studying it outside of the knowledge and techniques and methods and tips that are given to us in tarot books. Because tarot books can only bring you that far, can only get you that far, Of course, I am a tarot nerd and I do love to study, I do read a lot. I just had to get up and get these books. But I do believe that it's safe to say that these techniques, these tips that I'm going to give you are a little bit out of the ordinary here and there. But I do love the idea that we can study a specific card or even the tarot as a whole in general outside of the knowledge and the tips and the information and the methods and all of that that are given to us in books. So of course, getting a good tarot book or having a good tarot book is always part of the first tips that I will have for you. But, and some of these techniques are obviously inspired from books. But I really see the strength in also getting away from what others have already found out, what others have already discovered and, thought of before us, and just trying to get our own thing as well, because the tarot is personal. So those are, those differences are things that I like to journal about. Here is my favorite book for the Rider-Waite-Smith system. This is the Mythic Tarot. And the Mythic Tarot, this is an original 1986, I think, booklet. Has been reprinted, and I believe the book to be the same. The cards look different, are digitalized, you could say, a digitalized artwork, but the book, I believe, is still the same, and I really loved it. So this is my favorite Rider-Waite-Smith book. This is my favorite Marseille book, The Way of Tarot by Jodorowsky and Camoin, or sorry, Costa. Camoin is the deck, is the distributor, I believe, of the deck, and my favorite Thoth book is the Book of Thoth, actually. So yeah, these are just examples, but these are my favorites for these three systems, I guess. But most of the tips I'm giving you today come from the questions that arose while I was trying to figure out how to read the cards using the sun as an example of the specific card that we are trying to, unravel, I guess, today. I've picked the sun because I miss the sun. And then how to get to the next level and really to make, your own system of the tarot. I often say that on my channel, but I really do love that idea. Find your own style of reading, basically. So the majority of these tips came up as questions while I was trying to make sense of the cards, especially in tarot spreads, actually. Because for me, the tarot spreads, meaning the tarot spread positions, dictate the context of the card, if you know what I mean. this is pretty huge in my practice. Your practice can obviously be different, but I believe to get to the layers of the meanings in the cards, of all these possible layers, all of the possible meanings of this card, you know, I'm talking about that sphere of different angles, getting into the different angles, which was actually the question in this for this video, getting into the different layers of the possible meanings in the card, and learn to read them coming from different angles. So yeah, as I said, that is exactly what was asked for this video. And I like to say a card depicts an energy, yes, but really the context, meaning the spread positions, is showing how this energy is manifesting, where it's directed. So it's pretty huge. It's pretty important, I'd say. You know, if this is the way you feel about the tarot, and if this is the way that you already read the cards or journal about the cards or learn the cards, as I said, we never stop learning in this, which is why most of us love it. Then, you know, you'll probably love these tips. So let's get into the tips that I have for you. Okay, some of these tips I'm sure you've heard. You know, I can't be that original, but I also think that some of these could be new to anyone, no matter how long you've been reading the cards. So let's start with this fun thing that I'm pretty sure you'll all love. Different depictions do help. So, showing the Rider-Waite-Smith Centennial right here, there are different angles right there. These are all sun cards. Your journal entries will undoubtedly be different with each and every, you know, depiction of the sun card. This really helps to see different symbols and just different angles, as I keep saying, of the same archetype initially as our cosmic father. So yeah, pretty interesting, right? That's the first tip. So yeah, I am a little bit, what's the word, specific at the moment, at least with the decks that I do have. I've been culling my deck collection, and it has done great things for me. But I cannot deny that having different depictions of the same sun card, of this, you know, this tarot card that is pretty much supposed to be the same, supposed to mean the same thing initially in its core, having different depictions is of value, because yeah, I'd say pretty similar things still, except that here we could go the childhood route, whereas here it's a grown man. At least that's what it looks like to me. Here again, you know, just examples. We get a mountain instead of the wall of the garden, although here we do also have a wall. Where is it? Right here. And then there's these two fairies, or are they children? You know, here very different. And then here, of course, completely different, not traditional at all. It's even named a different, it's even getting it even gets a different title. What am I saying? It's even getting a different name. So it's not called 19 the Sun, but it's called the Phoenix, you know, from the rising from the ashes. And, you know, what does that, what information does that give you? Here we have very abstract, from the wild unknown, the sun, which is just really a burst, and then these four doves, I think, white birds at least. What does that give you? Here, very alchemical, obviously, because this is, after all, the alchemical tarot. You know, so I'm saying you can definitely reach for the book But it is so much fun to just, you know, thinking of you're trying to fully dive deep and understand this card. Well, it will help you learn that card looking at this one, the Sun of Life. So I always thought that was pretty interesting. Anyway, the second tip, read every card in light. What's the message if the card depicts an aspect of oneself that is developed? And then read every card in shadow. What would the message be if the card shows an aspect of oneself that isn't developed? So this is all like technical stuff, and for this I am referencing you to my shadow work video. It's in the info cards. If you move your cursor in the video screen, then you will see it right here, the little eye that is for the info cards. But I think that I'm referencing so many of my previous videos in this one that I will also have them linked below in the description. So you can dive deep within every tip. Yeah, so something interesting right there, you know. Read every card in light, read every card in shadow. Then that obviously brings us to, which isn't the same as shadow and light really, but we are also talking about positive and negative, as in what is positive about it and what is negative about it. So every card obviously has positive and negative aspects about it. So what does it mean to you? And therefore, what does this full energy mean? Now, getting to the full energy, the full spectrum of by example, this example, the Sun card, this will help you in case you are, for instance, doing a one card reading for yourself or for someone else without asking a question. Then where's the context, right? Then it's important to know the light and the shadow and the positive and the negative. So let's, you know, use this specific card as the example. Read this in light. I'm trying to do this for you. What's the message if the card depicts an aspect of oneself that is developed? So I'd say looking at the Sun card, it's about this beautiful life-giving energy, you know? Just an example, you can journal on that. And then what if the card shows an aspect of oneself that isn't developed, meaning that this life-giving energy is there, but it's not manifesting, it's not coming out. There is a blockage there, as in there is a chance for you to actually have this great energy and you know, share it with the world, but there is something like clouding it, literally, I'd say, with the Sun, right? And well, you know, this is all hypothetical, of course, but then looking at the positive in the Sun card, which is of course very easy because I see this as the most positive card in the tarot, I think, yeah. The positive aspects of this card is that it's a beautiful, as I said, life-giving energy, and there's a lot of motivation, there's a lot of warmth, there's a lot of openness, there's a lot of honesty, there's a lot of you know, these really high vibrations, you could say. And then looking at the negative in this card, that could really easily be, for instance, there is way too much of that burst of energy and it's no longer fruitful, it's actually destroying, because the Sun can also burn. It can burn the skin, or it can dry land. It can, you know, if there isn't enough balance. If it's maybe too much outspoken, or if it's maybe too much, you know, as in this burst of energy going outwards. You don't want to get, you know, burned out, for instance. So those are just examples off the top of my head. I didn't prepare this, but different angles of the same card, and you get to very different meanings, right? Next tip, which I already kind of did, is, and I also made a video about this, you know, it's linked everywhere. Read the card in Affirmation. What does it mean? and then read the card in advice. Then what do you get? This again is about finding the full spectrum of the energy that the card depicts. So read the card in affirmation, as in this is a beautiful card that you just pulled for yourself, and it's an affirmative, as in it is so type of message. Well, with this card it would be, you are beautiful, you are glowing, you are growing. This is a wonderful, you know, sunny, warm day for you. Could be metaphor, but maybe not. I don't know how you read the cards, you know. And it's very positive. There's a lot of energy. You can give a lot of energy. You get a lot of energy. And then there's also, of course, the heads of the sunflowers turning towards you, and that means that there is this type of magnet, because the sun is the magnet of our universe, of our galaxy. And so this is a beautiful message that's saying you are very magnetic, and you are very yeah, you could say even charismatic, all of those good things, right? It's a positive, just saying. And then you read this in advice saying, hey, you know what? All of those affirmation things, that's what you should do. As in, find that warmth within you, be open, be truthful, be honest, and be, you know, give that energy, all of this energy that you have inside of you, make sure to share it with the world, type of thing. I think you get the picture, right? Okay, next is finding the symbols in the card, meaning the different details in the card. So what do they tell you, no matter how abstract? Because we're not just talking about majors, we're also talking about minors. You know, the minors in a Marseille would be very abstract. But this can be personal as well as general or universal. You can dive deep with this alone. So check out my 78 Tarot Spreads video. But I'm just saying, so let's look at, well, this card from the Wildwood. Obviously a grown person right in front, a white light coming from their heart, shining. What does that mean? White light, I'm thinking Kether, but white light from the heart could just be having a pure heart, you know, having that openness, that heart, and not have it darkened in negativity, in you know, old pain, for instance. And then for this, again, we can get to the books, you know, but it's nice also to get to the personal meanings. And now I'm just thinking, you know, what could that white light mean that's coming from the heart, as a, just off the top of my head again. But perhaps you're also recognizing this white light from, I don't know, a dream or anything else. Perhaps it just reminds you of taking a photograph with a flash. I don't know, you know, but this could bring you somewhere else that then you can also link to the meaning of the card. Why not? Why not? This white light could be a flash from a photograph, and that brings you all the way back to taking family pictures. I don't know, I never did that really, but taking family pictures and thinking about your grandmother. I don't know, perhaps she was so warm, and I don't know, I'm just making things up at this point, but you know what I mean? This could mean something for you in this card, and then you can even bring that in all the sun cards that you have in your collection. So how does this tie in with the meaning of the card is what I'm trying to say. It allows the freedom with the interpretation, because the intuition itself is very helpful as well. Now, this is the reason why I have these books here. You can also, of course, just grab the books and see every single line and dot and squiggle and color and, you know, part of the card, aspect of the card, symbol in the card, and have them explained to you. I didn't mean to say that in that way, but I really like these books. They are super helpful. But yeah, it's like this is helpful, but don't underestimate your own gnosis. Your gnosis, as in your own knowledge, right? Your inner knowledge. I have another video about this also, so I'll just link that one below as well. It's yeah, it's actually literally personal versus universal symbols in the cards. So I think I say that in that video as well, but I really like the first step of studying, diving deep in the cards to be personal, because that already is like this link to the card. Hopefully it's a positive one, as in a helpful one, because we prefer to have helpful experiences with the tarot rather than unhelpful, obviously, with any sort of spiritual work, you know. So try to make this first connection with the card, to the card, a helpful one, a positive one, one that you learn from, that already gives you some sort of information. But then also, you know, don't shy away from the books, because they are also very helpful, and it's esoteric meaning, I'd say. Yeah, I would say that. But you know, getting those personal relationships with the cards can be very, very valuable. I know I'm rambling, but it's the way it is. Okay, so a really good one is Pathwork. I have several videos sharing that too, but Pathwork is when you step through the borders of the card and imagine or visualize yourself as a spectator watching the scene in the card, or as someone or something in the card. So you can easily be the little child on the horse, or you can be the horse, or you can be the sun itself, or you can be the flag, or the crown, or the feather, or perhaps even the grass, or the the sunflowers, or anything. Doesn't matter, because this gives like a 360-degree you know, idea of what this card is. Where is this place, and how does it feel? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? You know, all of that. Also, in this, we are talking about the paths of the tree of life. Obviously, that is what pathworking is. So it can't hurt to take a look at the tree of life, I'd say. But so far, I mostly enjoy the stepping through the borders of the card idea, because that makes sense for very personal experiences with the cards, which, you know, I value. And I don't always write those down, I have to say, but when I do, it's kind of like writing down a dream, and that's okay. That's okay. Okay, another really good one. Write the one card reading, or the card reading, doesn't matter, down at the beginning of the day, and then go back to it later and see if it was correct or good advice. This is valuable personal experiential knowledge with the cards, because you are getting information from your own reading. And this you can very easily do with journal entries, because there's proof right there. You know, you wrote it down, and you can also kind of like dissect it and see if there are any things that you would have interpreted differently, as in your reading wasn't wrong, but you learn from it. So it's kind of like, hey, you know what, when this card comes up, for me at least, it tends to mean this. You know what I mean? So incredible knowledge to me, at least. That's how I see it. Always write something down in your journal if a card doesn't feel right or correct at the moment. This is your chance to get into your own personal shadow stuff. Yeah, so that's incredibly, helpful. You learn a lot from that, not just from learning the tarot, but also learning yourself, because those two things, after all, are the same thing, to me at least, right? The tarot, I see it as the book of life, and everything that is possible in a human experience is there, right there in the cards. So learning the tarot, learning where's my card? What are possible meanings in this card means learning what are possible aspects, differences, different angles of my own energy that is this archetype. Does that make sense? Where was I? So getting into that personal shadow stuff or difficulties with the ego, once you get through it, get through the shadow stuff and get through the ego difficulties, you'll probably never have an issue like that with the card again. So that is a great one, I think. And this is all, it's all in your tarot journal, this whole journey with the card. These are just, I hope I'm making myself clear, like different ways and tips from my own experience that, really just answer this question. So, sorry about the excessive amount of video referencing in this video, but I feel like these are, as I said, my practices, and I've made many separate videos about those practices. So if any of these tips, as I said, seem like something you'd love to get into more, then, I have a few of them in the info cards and a few of them linked below. I probably made more, but these are the ones that I remember and that I can reference in this video. So hope that's okay. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I was just browsing through my notes, trying to find, one of those tips that I could actually give you with this specific card, but there's no time to actually do a pathwork session using the sun card or any sun card. Or any card at this point. I think that the pathworking videos that I have up will hopefully give you enough information to do it for yourself, because after all, this is a personal experience. So me doing it as an example, yeah, just the tips, I think the videos that I already have up are enough information, I think. And if not, please feel free to ask. I am happy to do these videos, to do the requests, to answer some questions, or just help you along your path, your journey. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I also want to ask, what are your ways of studying the tarot, or journal about it, because of course this is very personal, and maybe you have some tips for me as well. So anything I forgot, I really love to hear it. Thanks so much for making it this far. Thank you for asking this question, and I will see you all in the next one.